Welcome to the Sci-fi. I'm James, your narrator. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more stories. Eric's ship shuddered violently as it entered the atmosphere of the uncharted planet Duna. Sparks flew from the control panels, and alarms screamed in his ears. With one last desperate pull on the controls, he guided his ship toward a soft patch of emerald-green foliage. Below, the landing wasn't graceful, but he survived the dust and debris settled around him as he climbed out of the wreckage, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, luminescent moss covering the ground. The landscape stretched out before him in surreal beauty. Strange, chirping creatures flitted between massive flowers that pulsed with an inner light, adding to the otherworldly ambience despite the dangerous crash. Eric couldn't help but admire the planet's allure as he took a few cautious steps forward. A sudden rustling caught his attention. His hand instinctively moved toward his sidearm, ready for any hostile encounters. But what emerged from the thick foliage wasn't a creature, it was a woman, and not just any woman. She was tall, elegant, and undeniably otherworldly. Her skin was a striking shade of blue, smooth and radiant, almost shimmering under the moonlight. Her white, flowing garments wrapped around her in intricate designs, accentuating her figure while maintaining an air of regality. Her long golden hair cascaded down her back in soft waves, framing her sharp, symmetrical features. But it was her eyes, deep sapphire blue, with a glint of mischief, that held his gaze, pulling him in. Eric lowered his weapon, but remained on guard. "I wasn't expecting company," he said, his voice steady, masking his intrigue. The woman stepped closer, her movements graceful yet commanding. "Neither was I," she replied, her voice smooth and melodic. "But it seems fate has brought us together." "Human, I'm Eric," he introduced himself, offering a confident smile. "Despite the chaotic circumstances, what's your name, or should I call you Fate?" She chuckled softly, the sound like a gentle breeze. "I am Siva, Regent of Venera," she set, her tone carrying a mix of authority and warmth. "And you've landed in the middle of a mission far more significant than you realize." Eric raised an eyebrow. "Mission? Care to elaborate?" Kaz's expression turned serious, though her eyes still danced with that playful glint. "I'm here to retrieve a relic, an artifact that holds great power and importance to my people. It's hidden deep within the ancient ruins of this planet, guarded by dangers you can't begin to imagine." Eric crossed his arms, his curiosity piqued. "And you need my help for this, I assume?" Saa gave him a once over, her lips curling into a slight smile. "I've managed well on my own so far, but an extra pair of capable hands wouldn't hurt. Besides," she added, stepping even closer, "you seem like someone who thrives on adventure." He couldn't deny it. The offer was tempting, especially with such captivating company. "All right, I'm in, but what's in it for me?" Her smile widened, and there was a spark of intrigue in her gaze. "Help me succeed, and I'll offer you a reward that's beyond anything you've ever experienced." Eric's confidence surged. "You've got yourself a deal." The night deepened as they set off together, Saa leading the way through the glowing jungle. Despite the foreign environment, Eric felt a strange sense of excitement. He hadn't expected his day to turn into a high-stakes adventure with a stunning alien regent, but he wasn't one to complain. As they walked, Ta shared more about her mission. The relic she sought was said to grant its wielder the power to protect or destroy worlds, and it had been hidden away centuries ago by an ancient civilization. Eric listened intently. The gravity of the situation sinking in. Their journey was interrupted by sudden movement in the shadows. Siva halted, her eyes narrowing. "We're not alone," she whispered. Eric's hand instinctively reached for his weapon. From the darkness emerged a group of creatures, their sleek reptilian forms glistening in the moonlight. They were clearly hostile, their sharp teeth bared. As they approached, "Stay close," Siva instructed, drawing a slender glowing blade from her side. Eric nodded, his pulse quickening. Together they fought off the creatures, their movements fluid and synchronized despite the danger. Eric couldn't help but admire Kaz's skill and grace in combat. When the last creature fell, Kay turned to him, a hint of Satisfaction in her eyes, "You're not bad. For a human," she teased Eric, smirked, wiping sweat from his brow. "And you're not bad for a blue-skinned regent." Their banter lightened the mood. As they continued their journey, the bond between them grew stronger with each passing moment, the initial tension giving way to a mutual respect and subtle attraction as they reached a clearing. Saa paused, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "We're getting close," she murmured, her voice filled with determination. Eric followed her gaze, feeling a surge of anticipation. The ancient ruins of Dun loomed before them, a sprawling complex of towering obelisks and intricate carvings etched into shimmering stone. The structures seemed to pulse faintly with a life of their own, casting an eerie glow over the surrounding jungle. Eric and Siva stood at the entrance, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. "So what's the plan?" Eric asked, scanning the area for any potential threats. Kaz's eyes sparkled as she studied the massive doorway ahead, inscribed with IC symbols. "We need to find the central chamber where the relic is hidden, but the ruins are protected by ancient defenses, traps, puzzles, and possibly more of those creatures we encountered earlier." Eric nodded, a smirk playing on his lips. "Sounds like a walk in the park." Saa chuckled, her expression softening. "You have an interesting way of looking at danger, Eric. I hope that confidence of yours holds up." They ventured inside, their footsteps echoing through the vast hollow corridors. The air was thick with the scent of time and mystery, and the dim light from the glowing walls cast long flickering shadows. Despite the alien nature of the ruins, Eric felt a strange sense of familiarity, a reminder of the old Earth myths and legends he'd read about in his youth as they navigated the labyrinthine structure. Siva paused at an intersection, her hand tracing the symbols etched into the wall. "These markings tell a story," she murmured, her brow furrowing in concentration. Eric leaned closer, intrigued. "What kind of story?" "A warning," Sa replied, her voice low. "The relic we seek was hidden here to protect it from those who would misuse its power. The ancient guardians sealed it away, leaving behind trials to test the worthiness of anyone who dared to seek it." "Well," Eric said with a confident grin, "we've come this far. Let's see if we're worthy." Their first trial came in the form of a collapsing bridge over a chasm filled with what appeared to be liquid energy, pulsing, glowing, and alive. Siva moved swiftly, her agility and grace evident as she leaped across the crumbling stones. Eric followed suit, his muscles tensing with each jump. They barely made it to the other side before the bridge disintegrated behind them. Catching his breath, Eric glanced at Siva. "Is it too late to change my mind about this mission?" Kay laughed, her melodic voice echoing through the chamber. "Afraid of a little adventure?" Eric, he shook his head, his smirk returning. "Afraid number, I just prefer adventures with fewer death traps." The second trial tested their intellect. They entered a chamber filled with floating glowing orbs, each inscribed with different symbols. A large central pillar displayed a riddle in ancient script. Siva studied the riddle carefully, her mind racing to decipher its meaning. Eric, meanwhile, paced the room, occasionally offering sarcastic comments that earned him playful glances. From Kay, together they pieced together the solution, activating the correct sequence of orbs. The chamber trembled as the pillar sank into the floor, revealing a hidden passageway. "Not bad, human," Kay teased, her smile genuine. Eric shrugged, a hint of pride in his eyes. Just another day in the life of a treasure hunter. Their final trial was the most dangerous, a room filled with shifting platforms, rotating blades, and columns of fire. The relic rested on a pedestal at the center, tantalizingly close yet seemingly unreachable. Siva took a deep breath, her resolve unwavering. "I'll go first," she said, her tone firm. Eric grabbed her arm gently, his expression serious. "We do this together." Siv's eyes softened, and for a moment their gazes locked together. Then they navigated the deadly obstacles with a mix of skill, determination, and a fair amount of luck. Kaz's movements were fluid and precise, while Eric relied on his strength and quick reflexes. The tension in the room was palpable, but they worked in perfect sink their bond growing stronger with each paying second. Finally they reached the pedestal. Siva carefully lifted the relic, a crystalline sphere that pulsed. With a soft inner light, the room fell. Silent, the danger subsiding as the relic's power enveloped them in a soothing glow. "We did it," Siva whispered, her voice filled with awe. Eric grinned, his heart pounding with exhilaration. Not bad for a couple of misfits. They made their way out of the ruins, the relic safely in Kaz's possession. As they emerged into the cool night air, the twin moons casting their gentle light over the jungle, a sense of triumph washed over them. But the adventure wasn't over yet. Saa turned to Eric, her expression a mix of gratitude and something deeper. "You've proven yourself today, Eric. You're more than just a skilled fighter. You're a true partner." Eric raised an eyebrow, his interest piqued. "Is that your way of saying you're impressed?" Kaz's lips curved into a sly smile. "Perhaps. But there's more to this than just admiration." She stepped closer, her gaze intense. "Eric, I want you to come with me. To Vanara, there's a place for you there. By my side as my consort, my primary lover in my harem." Eric blinked, momentarily taken aback by her candidness. "Your harem?" Siva nodded, her expression unapologetic. "Yes, Bina's culture is one of openness and pleasure, where intimacy is celebrated. As my consort, you'll be my most trusted companion, sharing in the pleasures and responsibilities of my world." Eric's mind raced, processing her offer. It was an unexpected turn of events, but the allure of adventure, coupled with the undeniable attraction he felt for Saa, made it difficult to refuse. "You've got a way of making offers I can't resist," he said, a playful grin spreading across his face. Siv's eyes sparkled with amusement. "Then follow me to my planet. Human, your reward is more than you bargained for." Eric stood on the landing platform of Siva's sleek spacecraft, his eyes scanning the elegant contours of the vessel. The polished surface gleamed under the light of Donna's twin moons, its intricate designs hinting at advanced technology and a rich cultural heritage. The ship hummed soft, a gentle reminder of the journey ahead. Siva had promised him an adventure and a reward like no other, and he was ready to see what awaited him on Venera. As they prepared for departure, Ca turned to Eric, her blue skin glowing softly in the moonlight. She was radiant, her golden hair cascading down her back, and her flowing white garments clinging to her form in a way that highlighted her regal beauty. "Are you ready, Eric?" she asked, extending her hand toward him. Eric took her hand without hesitation, his grip firm yet gentle. "I've come this far, haven't I?" Lead the way, Saa. A smile played on her lips as she led him aboard the ship. The interior was just as impressive as the exterior, sleek, modern, and filled with subtle touches of artistry. The walls shimmered with faint pulsing light, and the seats were upholstered in a soft, luxurious material that conformed perfectly to their forms. Eric settled into his seat as Ca activated the controls, and the ship lifted smoothly off the ground, heading toward the stars. The journey to Venera was swift, the ship cutting through space with ease. Eric found himself relaxing in the serene atmosphere, his mind racing with thoughts of what awaited him on Kaz's homeworld. The chemistry between them had been undeniable from the start, and now, with her bold offer on the table, the anticipation was almost too much to bear. As they neared Venera, the planet came into view, a breathtaking orb of swirling blues and greens, its surface dotted with shimmering cities and vast stretches of unspoiled nature. The sight left Eric momentarily speechless, a rare occurrence for the confident adventurer. Siva watched him with a knowing smile. "Welcome to Vanara, Eric. This is my world, and soon it will be yours too." The ship descended smoothly onto a grand landing platform situated at top sprawling palace complex. The architecture was unlike anything Eric had ever seen, sleek and modern, yet infused with organic curves and natural elements. The palace glimmered in the sunlight, its towers reaching toward the sky. As they disembarked, a group of attendants awaited them, their blue skin And elegant attire mirroring Ka's regal appearance, they bowed respectfully. As Siva led Eric down the ramp, her presence, commanding yet warm, Eric noticed the admiring glances the attendants gave him. A subtle reminder of the position he was about to assume. Eric couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and excitement as they made their way through the palace grounds. They stopped at the entrance to the palace, where Kat turned to face him. Her expression was serious, yet her eyes still held that familiar glint of mischief. Eric, before we go any further, there's something you need to understand. As my consort, you will be my primary lover, but you will also be part of a larger family, a harem of trusted companions and confidants. This is a position of great honor and responsibility. Eric nodded, his gaze unwavering. I understand, CA. I'm ready. Her smile returned, and she stepped closer, her voice dropping to a softer, more intimate tone. Good, because I've been waiting for someone like you, someone strong, confident, and willing to embrace the pleasures of life without warning. Siva reached out and placed a hand on Eric's chest, her touch sending a jolt of electricity through his body. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and the tension that had been building since their first encounter finally reached its breaking point. Siva leaned in, her lips brushing against his in a slow, deliberate kiss. Eric responded eagerly, his arms wrapping around her waist. As he pulled her closer, the world seemed to fade away as they gave in the undeniable attraction that had been simmering between them. Their passionate embrace was interrupted by a soft cough from one of the attendants. SAA pulled back, her cheeks flushed, but her eyes still smoldering with desire. Come, Eric, there's more I want to show you. She led him through the palace, their footsteps echoing through the grand halls. The walls were adorned with intricate murals depicting scenes of V's history and culture, and the air was filled with the faint sound of music and laughter. The palace exuded a sense of warmth and vibrancy, a testament to the joy and passion that defined Vena's way of life. They entered a lavish chamber, its centerpiece a massive cushioned bed draped in luxurious fabrics. The room was bathed in soft ambient light, creating an atmosphere of intimacy and relaxation. Siva turned to face Eric, her expression softening as she stepped closer. This is where your new life begins, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. As my consort, you will share in the pleasures and responsibilities of Venera. You will be my partner, my lover, and my confidant. Eric's heart pounded in his chest as Siva reached for him once more, her touch sending shivers down his spine. The connection between them was electric, their chemistry undeniable. As they gave in to their desires, Eric knew that he had found something truly special, something beyond anything he had ever imagined. The night passed in a blur of